Hello and welcome back to Chapter 5 or Part 6 of Sabres of Infinity. Last episode was rather short, no major events, just us not getting our promotion or whatnot. If you would like to see the previous episodes, I will have a link in the description, or you can just click on my channel icon. The reason to do that is this is a novel and it's progressive, and if you haven't already seen the rest, then you'll be confused with watching them further. So yeah, let's just go and get on with it. I know it's been a little while, but it's just been hard finding a nice quiet time to record. But nevertheless, Chapter 5, wherein the cavalry officer rides to the relief of an outlying outpost and engages a small force of Atari in battle. Alright, exciting, I like battle. You feel the warm breeze, or the first warm breezes of late spring on your face as you make your morning rounds. It's a good feeling knowing that you will no longer be ankle deep in mud or snow and that you will finally be able to end the day with dry socks and late sunset. Suddenly, there is a commotion at the gate. A man clad in Orientarius, or Osterius, forgive my pronunciation, Ostentarius, Ostentarius uniform of the White Rose Lancers gallops past upon a haggard-looking but still magnificent mount. The White Rose Lancers are the Duke of Warburton's personal guard unit and thus have been favored with brilliant white and sky blue braid, which you have no doubt makes a far better impression on the ladies than your own green, gray, and red. Paying you and his horse no heed, the Lancer tumbles easily off the saddle. Clutching a folded sheet of parchment tightly into one hand, he rushes forward into Major Hunter's office, collapsing into the arms of the sentry standing just beyond the door. A little bit of shock as to what had just happened, you see an ordinarily dressed white cavalryman disappear into the building. A moment later, a sentry peeks his head out of the door. Cornet Castleton, Major Hunter, and Captain Lafrebe request your presence. Maybe he was attacked. I didn't see any blood before, but he collapsed, so it might have been like, I bring a message and then dies. My friends are dead. Blech. You enter the office and see the two senior officers in the outpost standing with the Lancer you saw earlier. You report yourself ready for duty, and the two grenadier officers take you to the map table. Captain Lafrebe points at a dot on the map near the far side of the River Caron. As you know well, we've had a listening post on the far side of the River Caron for some time now. It's a relatively crude camp with limited defenses and a very small garrison numbering perhaps a dozen. Major Hunter beckons the Lancer to approach. Only when you get a closer look do you realize that the man's ornate uniform bears merely the insignia of a lowly non-commissioned soldier. Lance Corporal Kinsey has just ridden through the night from the camp. He has come to us with intelligence that the listening post is under light attack by Atari. The garrison is holding, but it has apparently expended much of its supplies of shot and powder. The attacking force is reported to be quite sparse, but the Lancers are unsuited to fighting on foot. With the other units of force on patrol, you remain the only force of cavalry available. You require your men to ride to the post with relief supplies and ammunition, and assist them in dealing with any remaining assailants. The Major looks up to you, his expression serious. This is an undertaking of grave urgency, Cornet, and I demand the greatest expediency from you. If you have any questions, ask them now. Who commands the listening post? Is one of the options. What defenses does the listening post have? Why don't we send a larger relief of column of foot instead? No questions, sir. You have no questions. I think that is the best option. Alright. Back from our short break. Alright, we're back to the options. We're gonna go with no questions because, well, I mean, I guess information's always helpful, but right now he wants expediency. Let's just get the job done and make him, I guess, like us more, better reputation or something like that. If we look at stats, we do show us statistics. We see our soldiering's bad. What will this change? Not much. maybe reputation, if anything, that I can think of. But honestly, no question, sir. Let's go. Actually, no. Who commands a listening post? That could be important. Lance Corporal Kinsey describes a few virtues of many weaknesses of Lieutenant Carricourt, his commanding officer, in great and bitter detail. Apparently the man has only his commission because of powerful relatives in the Cortez. According to Kinsey, he is a man of unsound intelligence and entirely unsuited for any sort of combat. Most importantly, Kinsey blames him for not ordering the garrison to stand and fight when they could have easily melted into the forest. Lefebvre and Hunter listens with pained expressions. You get the expression that neither man would wish such a leader inflicted on any of the soldiers under his command. Any other questions, Cornet? Okay, we'll just ask everything. Might as well. This doesn't seem to be a problem. We're asking for the defenses, and it says Major Hunter asked the Lancer for his answer, but not an encouraging one. Lance Corporal Kinsey describes the listening post's lack of defense very succinctly. Aside from the crude fence made from a bundle of branches and a few strong points composed of piled logs, more for defense than the weather from the earnest attack, the listening post has no defense fortifications to speak of. Any other questions? No questions, sir. And that shall be our answer. Alright, sorry about that. I was talking to a friend of mine. But we'll just continue right on. So we decided no questions, and it says Major Hunter steps forward as you finish with your questions. Very well, I must also insist that you engage any stragglers of the Atari force that remain. As such, I am making the contents of the armory available to you, should you feel the need to augment your striking power or the abilities of the listening post's lancers. Okay, we're gonna get access to an armory, and we're gonna have better equipment. Sounds good. You see Captain Lefebvre's face go sour. It's clear that Major Hunter's offer goes against the recommendations of his chief of staff. Still frowning, Lefebvre leads you to the squat stone armor building. You may question a few items from our stores if you absolutely must. Our supplies of munitions is limited, so try to avoid squandering them. You look over the weapons and supplies available to you. Okay, we got a couple of options here. Alright, so the options include hand grenades to clear any stubborn rear guard, extra shot and powder for protracted fight, infantry muskets to arm the pistol-carrying lancers with more accurate weapons, or we don't need any extra supplies. This is a weird choice because I don't see how it matters. It probably matters pretty big. I'm assuming I can just take all of the crap I want. I guess we'll take one thing. Reputation might take a small hit, but he offered them to us, and thus we are going to take what we can take or get. You know, honestly, shouldn't we just charge their cavalry unit and break them like from the rear, flank them, I guess, in a sense? Do we really need to carry extra weapons for the men to arm them? No, we don't need any extra supplies. We can do this by ourselves. Ah, Captain Lefebvre gives you a rare smile. Very good, Cornet. Should you survive this sortie, I shall expect decisions of similar fragility and sensibility in the future. Nah, dude, I can't pronounce anything this game is throwing at me. Now, I don't want to sound unintelligent, but there's a lot of big words, and I like fragility. I don't know, man. So yeah, just please pardon all my mispronunciations. I know it's probably pretty awful, but if you can bear with me, that'd be pretty nice. Okay, carrying nothing more than your own weapons and supplies, which your superiors have charged you with, you and your men set off a little after 9 o'clock. You followed the old Imperial Highway down to the Coron River Bridge. The conditions of the road have been much improved with recent months, thanks to the diligent efforts of the Royal Engineers. Potholes have been filled with large stretches have been cobbled, and the path is now wide enough to accommodate 3 horses riding abreast. With autonomy of riding along a good road comes a certain mental wanderlust. Your thoughts quickly turn to the situation which must await you upon your arrival. From the snippets of conversation that you hear from those riding behind you, it seems that your men are thinking of the same thing. Seems proper that you should reassure them by telling them what they are likely to expect. You decide to tell them that this will likely be a routine mission, to expect a bit of a fight, to be prepared for anything. Okay. Expect a bit of a fight, you cowards? No. Yeah, let's do that. Let's tell them, let's ask, or remind them to expect a fight. Because this is not a routine mission where you're going to fight people, we're not giving supplies, so definitely. And I guess be prepared for anything might be good, but that might make them uneasy, like, oh, we're gonna get ambushed, even though we might. But we're just gonna do expect some fight. You turn to your saddle and calm expression on your face. There shouldn't be much worry about, gentlemen. The Atari are probably bracing themselves for a fight, but we'll get through. It'll be a few bands of skirmishes, not any army. We've whipped them before, and this time it won't be any different. Your men don't seem too reassured by this, but they do stop grumbling for the rest of the trip. And that is my crap. What is it? I worked on getting my charisma the highest stat too. It's 58%. But still, these guys don't care. Probably because of low morale, loyalty, or discipline. I'm not really sure. They're both all low. I don't really know which one affected that, but it failed. They weren't reassured. It's okay though. As the sun finally begins to sink toward the western edge of the summer sky, you spot the deforested hill upon which your destination stands. As you venture closer, you bring to see the signs of a fight. A body or two sprawled on the road and a few trees scorched with some sort of minor bane casting, all as silent as you announce yourself to the garrison of the listening post. So we probably should have bought supplies for these fools, because I thought we were just gonna like charge up the hill and be like, full glory, and kind of do the whole attack thing. But we just kind of snuck in the base, it looks like. You hear a sharp crack as something fast and metal passes by your head. You turn in time to see a musket ball smack into the trunk of the trees before you, before disappearing into a cloud of splinters. Alright, someone's trying to shoot at me. Thanks. One of your men gives a sudden cry as he points into the forest. You follow his arm to see a handful of dark shapes in the glim of the sun in the middle. It seems the Atari have not been beaten back after all. More begin pouring out of the forest, muskets all the ready, and you and your men spur to your horses and make for the listening post at a hard gallop. Okay, so we're running for our lives right now. Great. That's exactly what I wanted. We totally should have got some extra supplies. Oh, well, that one guy kind of liked us for it, so we'll deal with it. Thankfully, the Atari and all their numbers are terrible shots. You and your dragoons managed to reach the makeshift wall of the listening post without suffering a single hit. The enemy continued to charge after you as your patrol stands trapped. The fence is too high to jump over, and there's no entrance otherwise. The Atari get closer and your men begin returning fire with their carbines. One of the enemy musketeers goes down, but another quickly grabs his weapon and takes his place. Half a dozen ready their weapons, as you and your men make to draw your sabers. More lead bullets whiz past your head, this time going the other way. Two more Atari are struck down, the remainder turn to run to the forest. Twist your saddle to see 8 heads poking above the fence, each wearing a distinctive high caps with the White Rose Lancers. Yeah, so I guess apparently the White Rose Lancers are supposed to be the elite bodyguard of someone, but the one guy we saw was wearing a common soldier's insignia, so I guess one of these guys like banished to suck? Like, y'all betrayed me, so you must be low ranking. I don't know, it seems like they were demoted. We'll see though. One of the Lancers pushes open a section of the fence, clearly designed to be used as some sort of a gate. With the other way now clear, and you and your men walk on the horses on the inside. Why? Why would we not charge them down the hill? They're running. We're on cavalry with swords. They don't. They have muskets. Oh well. I guess I only got like 12 guys. I'm not even sure how large my force is. We totally should have charged down the hill though. I guess we'll have a fight eventually though. The listening post. Okay, I'm gonna start reading now. The listening post is very little more than a small enclosed and small. Whoa, I'm gonna reread that entire thing. Yeah, the listening post is very little more than a small enclosure, there we go, inside the fence. Its only real structures are 3 tents, a black-trimmed pit, a small wooden shed half dug into the ground for the storage of supplies and weapons, and a wide lean to made of wooden branches to serve as a primitive stable. Excuse me. You and your men hitch your mounts to the crudely carved posts. After finishing tying up your horses, you are met by a man wearing a sergeant's stripes. Despite his haggard appearance and stocky build, his uniform somehow makes him look more elegant than your entire unit combined. Ah, bastard. Alright. Saints look down upon us with pity. He he proclaims. The relief is evident in his voice. Kinsey got you through. Tell me, what other news do you bring? How many of his men has Major Hunter sent in after you? Who's commanding them? His face seems to collapse when you tell him that no other help will be forthcoming. With a grim expression, he orders his men to begin unloading the supplies with which you have brought. Bloody excellent, that is. We were hoping for a relief column, a real one. More than that, we were hoping for a higher officer to take the reins of our pig's arse of a commander. Oh, so this isn't the commander I'm talking to, my bad. No one likes us, dude, this commander. Oh, it's a sergeant, yeah. The sergeant fills you in on the situation. The Atari have attacked on the night before in a group of about half a dozen. When the small force retreated, they had thought that the attackers had been driven off. So we're fighting 12 guys right now. We're fighting 12 guys, and 3 of them died. Wait, I'm gonna reread this. The Atari had attacked on the night before in a group of half a dozen. When the small force retreated, they had thought those attackers had been driven off. Kinsey had been sent to request more supplies. Unfortunately, the morning of the Atari had returned in a band of 30 or 40. Okay, the post is under attack ever since. Never mind. Yeah, there's not 6 guys. There's 35 of them or something. That's a lot worse for us. Probably shouldn't have charged then. Worse is that idiot Karakot thinks that we can outlast them. He sees no reason not to just sit here while we run out of food and powder. The second we fire our last shot, the Atari will come in with torches and burn this whole mess down around our ears. The sergeant points accusingly at the men sitting in the shadow of the largest tent. The subject of the sergeant's ire seems oblivious to his subordinate's harsh criticism, sincerely cutting up his dinner with a silver knife and fork. The pistol and saber lie discarded beside him, and he seems to be paying very little heed to the dire situation around him. There's the jackass right there. He won't listen to us, but maybe he'll take some wiser counsel than from his maybe he'll take some wiser counsel than his own from another officer. Okay. So I guess we're gonna go in and talk some sense into him. Karakot looks even more like a twit up close than he did from afar. His wax mustache and immaculately cared for uniform make him seem out of place everywhere save for perhaps a high-class salon. You wait impatiently, holding your salute as he slowly takes a sip from his wine glass and finally acknowledges your presence. What is it, Sarah? Can you not see I am... Sarah? What are you calling me that for? Can you not see that I am irrevocably... Dude. This pronunciation is awful. Can you not see I am very occupied? We'll just substitute these words, he exclaims, without even looking up. It's only after you clear your throat that he realizes that he is addressing a fellow officer, not one of his own enlisted men. If you've come from the main post, Sarah, you may tell Lord Wolfsted that our position is quite satisfactory, that I do not need to be pestered by further visits. Your monitoring confusion at the familiar name is dispelled once you realize that the lieutenant is using Major Hunter's noble title, as if your commanding officer's military rank meant less than his standing in the Corres. It has become abundantly clear just how lightly Karakot takes his duty as a king's officer. Then you decide then and there that this moron will surely get all of his men killed. He must be dealt with. I will not stand for this idiot any longer. I will take my men and leave as soon as possible. I can't leave. So, I mean, I'm kind of forced for the first option here. And obviously I'll get disapproval, but the two guys seemed, my 2 other commanding officers back at the base, Lefebvre and Hunter, seemed kind of like they might be fine if I decide, to punch this guy's face in and take over. Yeah. After it has become abundantly clear just how lightly the Karakot takes his duties as a king's officer, you decide then and there that this moron will surely get all of his men killed. He must be dealt with. Yes. You attempt to explain the wisdom of either withdrawing from the listening post or otherwise taking some sort of drastic action, but it seems that Karakat's mind is set on the idiotic course. No matter how persuasive or intimidating you get, the fool refuses to budge. You bite back or reply for as long as you can until you can stand the man no further. You open your mouth to spit a reposette, sharp and venomous. If you insist on leading your men to your deaths, and me and my men shall not detain you further, so take my leave of you. You may wish to die, sir, but your men do not deserve to die with you. If we stand and fight with you... Okay, wait. What? You may wish to die, sir, but your men do not deserve to die with you. If we stand and fight with you, we shall stand some chance. I don't know, something I've realized, like I've read a couple of these other kind of choose your own adventure books from Choice of Games. And it might just be that since I'm reading it out loud, I'm an incompetent bigot who's a retard. But the writing is confusing in some of these things. Like I'll repeat this one more time. You may wish to die, sir, but your men do not deserve to die with you. Makes sense. Seems clear. If we stand and fight with you, we shall stand some chance. See, that doesn't make any sense. I'm basically the sentence. What? I get what it's saying. We're kind of seeing if he'll let us fight with him against them. But the way it's laid out doesn't make any sense to me. On first glance, you have to analyze this like this is a freaking AP English test. Lieutenant Karat, you are a disgrace to His Majesty's army. Oh, this is the third choice, by the way. Since you seem so uneager to save your men, I shall do it for you. I am assuming command. Oh! Problem with these games is I can't just click I am assuming command and then go back. If I choose that, I'm stuck with that, and that is mutiny. Seems like a good way to get killed. Because he could shoot me in the head probably for that, or hang me or something like that. I'm gonna do the second option. We're not gonna leave. That was not our mission. The mission was to deal with the rest of the Atari. If we leave, that's disobeying what we're supposed to do. So we'll do the second one. Even though I really do want to assume command and be like, dude, get the, dude, you're gonna kill everyone here. Get out of here. But we're gonna choose the second option, which is the confusing one. But it basically summarizes that we're gonna fight with him, I believe. Oh, it seems that you have overestimated your chances. The next day draws bright and cloudless. Oh shit! I didn't realize. My entire unit gonna die now. No, I'll just keep reading. The next day dawns bright and cloudless, bringing it with a renewed Atari assault. You and your men run out of ammunition early in the fight, and soon is desperate hand-to-hand struggle. We ran out of ammunition even with the crap we brought them? We're carrying muskets. How much ammunition can we possibly go through? Did we not bring any ammunition? No, whatever. With the advantage of the numbers on their side, the Atari pour over the crude barricade. For a few minutes you hold them, but eventually the mass of their charge overwhelms you. Your formation collapses, the Atari Sabre catches you in the throat. Oh, I fucking died, didn't I? And thus your story comes to a premature end. Oh, I died. Alright, restore my last checkpoint. Oh, I don't have to go through. I'm gonna quickly choose all the choices I chose before. No questions, sir. Okay, we're back at a thing where we have a choice to bring stuff with us. Yeah, we're gonna bring extra shot and powder this time. You pack a saddlebag full of gunpowder and lead balls sealed in wax paper cartridges. You manage to get nearly 2,000 of things in the bag, certainly enough for a score or so meant to fight a lengthy engagement. With powder and shot safely stowed, you and your men set off a little after 9 o'clock. Okay, this time, also this is like when I'm reassuring my men, I'm saying, be prepared for anything. You turn your saddle with a grim expression on your face. I won't lie to you, gentlemen, our best intelligence is a day-old and we may be riding into a trap. Nonetheless, we have our orders and we must carry them out unless some good and solid reason presents itself for us not to. The king expects us to carry on, and carry on we shall. The men are not reassured in the least, but the reminder of your journey passes in the insomnia of anxiety and fear. Okay, I didn't do any better than the other choice, but it's fine. The same thing, we were trapped into the base, we made our way in. Skipping all this stuff. Yeah, the guy telling us, alright, he's a moron, we'll get all of us killed, he must be dealt with. Yes. Okay, I'm going to do the exact same thing. We're going to see if the extra shot will help us out. Oh, shit. I died again. The extra gunpowder didn't... We ran out of ammo just the same. Which is... silly. Alright, we're just gonna go through all the same fucking shit, dude. Alright. We won't need any extra supplies. We prepared for anything. Skip, skip, skip. What an interesting chapter. We went through the entire game up to this point without dying. In this chapter, we've died twice. Nice. Okay, this time, we're gonna assume command, boys. Lieutenant Karakad, you are a disgrace to His Majesty's army, and since you seem so uneager to save your men, I shall do it for you. I am assuming command. There you go. Cornet stands angrily, spilling his wine all over his folding table. How dare you, Sirrah? This is my command. By what right does a cornet of barely cavalry rank over a lieutenant of the Duke Wurzbann's own guards? What? By what right does a cornet of barely cavalry rank have over a lieutenant? Yeah, there's like words missing in this novel. It's fine though. I like the story enough to pass it. Or I might just be that once again I'm an idiot. But yeah, what right do I have over him? The lieutenant does have something of a point. There is no provision of this sort of thing. You could perhaps have him removed on the grounds of mental instability, but that would require a surgeon, and regrettably, no healers are present. You look around and see that some of the other lancers have gathered around, attracted by the sound of their commander's outburst. If you plan on convincing them to accept your command, you'll need to make an argument quick. What? Okay, so we have a couple interesting options. I'm a better soldier and a better fighter. I am better educated and thus I'm more likely to come up with a workable plan. I am a better leader. Our soldiering is crap. It is actually crap. We're not going to say we're a better soldier. Intelligence is pretty high and charisma is pretty high. I think charisma is a leader, so we're going to say we're a better leader. I am a better leader. You stand straight and look imperviously down at another officer. Your eyes peering eagle-like down your nose at him as if he were the subordinate and you the superior officer. You're mistaken, sir. If you think rank entitles you to some sort of divine power over these men, their lives are at stake. This is a prerogative to choose their own salvation. Karat's men begin gravitating towards you as you continue to speak. The other officer begins to look more and more panicked. Within a minute or so, no one remains on his side. The lieutenant himself is red with rage. You see the opportunity to seize control, you take it. Lieutenant Caricat, you are relieved of command. Gentlemen, tie this officer to something solid. We can see about getting you all out alive. Two of the lancers immediately comply. Caricat sputters little, but offers no resistance. We did it, boys! Oh man, this is gonna bite us in the ass later. We're gonna get fucking killed. Alright, but we have command! Okay, slow clap for myself. With the issue of command finally settled, you and your newly acquired men take to the defense positions and preparing for the next Atari attack. Sure enough, in less than an hour, you begin hearing a crack of musket fire coming from the trees around you. The Atari approach in a long, ragged line. Most were little but homespun and carry nothing deadlier than improvised weapons made from farm implements. A few shoulder muskets and blunderbusses with a more unprofessional manner. At their head stands a man in a red surcoat, legs and arms covered in plate. In his hands he carries a long, exquisitely crafted musket, shining with the blue light of Banecraft. Perhaps he is a petty noble leading his peasants in some feudal resistance, or the elected head of a band of freeholders with a hodgepodge for scavenging weapons. This is certainly clear that this little war band is not a particularly professional force. The attackers halt there at 80 paces. The musketeers run forward, weapons in hand. The lancers open in on them, 2 or 3 to go down. Hitting the moving target with such range is a difficult task for infantry, let alone cavalry unused to firing beyond 20 paces. Your own dragoons have better luck. The sharp crack of your men's carbines join the duller canopy of the Atari muskets and the lancers' pistols. 3 more attackers fall. Most of the remaining Atari hurriedly scrambled to their lines soon after the fire. Their poorly aimed balls fly wildly. Only their leader stands firm, ignoring the bullets flying about him. He coolly levels his weapon and unleashes a bane spell of ruined within. Oops. Alright, so this guy's gonna try to kill us. There's a loud boom, more like the sound of a cannon than a musket. You hear a storm of lead shards issue from the flaming muzzle of the Atari rune gun, scything through the air like shrapnel. One of the lancers goes down, his brain shredded by a dozen flying fragments. Another falls, clutching his bloody ruin of his left arm. We're getting destroyed by this guy. Beyond the smoke, you hear a loud yell from the throats of 36 men. Dark shapes appear through the powder smoke and coalesce into the silhouettes of armed men. The Atari bursts out of the battle fog in a dead charge. That's not good. Okay, the fight lasts for an hour. The Atari charge your men again and again, only to be driven back by concentrated fire, leaving one or two of their fellows dead behind them each time. The enemy finally relents as the sun begins to set. You can see their campfires and the trades as they rest in preparation for another day's fighting. You were safe for now. Alright, we were attacked and it did not go well. We probably need to leave. As you and your men sit down in your own meager rations, your sergeant sits himself down next to you, a worried expression on his face. I've just taken count, sir. In the last little fight, used up almost all the ammunition we brought with us. The men barely have 2 cartridges each. If you got a plan, we best hear it now. Before calling for a meeting, Lansreal turns to you again. Oh yes, and when you told us to be prepared for anything, I thought you were putting the men on edge for no reason. But ever since we ran into this damn mess, he pauses for a moment, grasping his words. The men trust your instincts now. Don't let them down. Oh boy, let's look at that loyalty, 45%. I think it went up 5%. It's a slow crawl to loyalty, but goodness, when the game rewards you, I like it. After dinner, you call your men, dragoons and lancers both, together to formulate a plan. You have several options available, none without some risk. First, you could attempt a frontal assault, with the Atari demoralized and battered by the afternoon's battle. Now would be the best time for it. In such a battle, the force would give the Atari the advantage, and running out of ammunition might prove fatal in such circumstance. It is a risky approach, though, one that realizes on your abilities in direct combat more than anything else, but is also the most straightforward. Well, I think we can probably scratch that, considering. I mean, you would think that it wouldn't matter, like, my combat abilities, considering I got all these guys around me that are good, but it kind of made it clear that since it's gonna go off of my soldiering ability, and since it's actually trash, it's not gonna work. Secondly, the dragons could stage a diversion and gain the Atari's attention whilst the lancers escape through the forest. You are confident in the skirmishing skills and spirit of your dragoons, as well as your own ability to think quickly. This could be an attractive, if risky, plan. Alright. Lastly, you could attempt to bluff the enemy into leaving. This plan is probably the riskiest. A failed attempt would waste your precious time and likely boost the spirits of the enemy enough for them to attempt another attack. However, the convincing performance of a man of sufficient personal magnetism could mean victory without further casualties. Okay, well, we got 58 charisma now. I don't know if that is enough to bluff successfully. Staging an aversion sounds appealing, but I'm gonna bluff. And if we die, then I'm just gonna skip all the way back to this point, and I'm gonna stage a diversion. Please don't die. Please work. Okay, we're bluffing. You make the decision that it'd be best to try to fool the Atari into leaving without any sort of fight at all. You all set to coming up with a scheme to make them just do that. You and your men put your heads together for most of the night, trying to come up with a plan which would most likely work with some degree of satisfaction. Finally, the sun's rays peeking over the horizon and a renewed Atari attack is soon to come. You try to snatch a few hours of sleep in the hope that you have in mind will be good enough. In the hope that what you have in mind will be good enough, alright? By the time you awake, the sun is high in the sky and you can hear the distant sounds of the Atari preparing for another attack. You and your men warily take positions as the Atari march out the forest. You prepare yourself mentally for what is to come, before taking a deep breath and lifting yourself atop the branch fence. Okay, hopefully this guy doesn't shoot me with his magic gun. I just realized this guy is like a really accurate gun. Nevertheless, Next. And then you get shot in the head by a magic bane blood casting gun. You're insurance. Okay. You turn your left and to your right, drawing yourself to look far more confident than you already are, hoping that some Atari are out there understand Terrarium. Company, fall in ranks, you yell, as if you were commanding 6 score crack infantry, as opposed to less than 24 tired cavalrymen. Company, prepare to receive infantry. You try your best to continue maintaining the aura of self-confidence as you look from point to point behind the low wall, giving orders to an entire company of non-existent subordinates. The Atari continue to advance. There are 30 paces away now, 20, 10. Out of desperation more than anything, you continue to give orders more frantically now, hoping that your persistence will convince the enemy of the reality of your phantom soldiers. Then the Atari commander steps forward, his arms outstretched. The enemy halts. The red-coated man bellows an order in his indecipherable tongue. The enemy takes a step back. A moment later, they are retreating. Yo, boy! That was successful! Successful. You spend the remainder of the day burying the dead. First your own, then the enemy's. Thankfully, most of the wounded will survive. You have time enough before sunset to send Sergeant Lansreal out to take a peek of the enemy camp. He returns jubilant, reporting that the enemy have abandoned their positions and fled. A wide grin across his face, he presents you with the enemy's commanding rune gun. Abandoned in their retreat. Dude, I got a special shrapnel gun that he didn't shoot me with for whatever reason. Sleep comes easily enough for you that night, despite your losses over the past 2 days. Neither of your dragoons nor the lancers seem too disreputed. The next day, they send you off with 3 ragged cheers and their undying gratitude. You return to the main outpost that afternoon. The insider approaches you at the gate and orders you to report to Major Hunter, Captain Lee for a debriefing. Hopefully, they're not too mad that I totally just broke the rules of war and decided to take this guy out of command. The 2 grenadier officers seemed genuinely surprised by your drawn appearance. They had, after all, expected you to only make a simple courier trip. To see that you returned after a day of harsh battle must be rather disconcerting for them. They think that I came there, I had to fight and barely survived and left. The Freebie presses you for details, forces or dispositions and the equipment of the enemy, the condition of your men you had fought beside, putting it all down in a notebook. Hunter remains silent as his subordinate asks you for question after question. Yeah. This goes on for a good half an hour. You elaborate around the conditions of your mission, your losses and your victories. Finally, Captain seems satisfied, putting you down in the notebook, giving a brusque nod. What? Did I not tell him about how I assumed command? Now it's Major Hunter's turn, leading forward as he praises you silently for a moment. His face breaks into a grim slash of a smile. He places a hand on your shoulder the same way that your father used to do when you were little. Oh. Cornet, what you did there was beyond anything expected of you, and without any sort of additional equipment besides, you are truly a credit to your regiment and to His Majesty's army. However, I have one matter on which I greatly desire your opinion. Okay? Knowing a serious question from his superior when you hear one, you lean in earnestly. We had negative criticism about Lieutenant Carricott in the past, but your report makes him an entirely unsuited for duty. Would you support that assessment? It is clear that a major holds your opinion on the matter in high esteem. You come to the realization that your response, by extension, Major Hunter's report to high command, can make or break the man's career. Okay, let's look at the decisions. Cornet had a single bad decision that couldn't make him incompetent. Lieutenant Carricott clearly has much to learn about the art of command. Censor him. Cornet is incompetent and a disgrace. I would much like to see his career in tatters. Let's look at the stats. We have reputation. I think our reputation's actually gone down. It's at 30% right now. I don't know if it's been higher than that. I think that reputation would be the biggest thing this would affect. Now, he's definitely an idiot. And if he's had complaints in the past, actually, now that I think about it, what was his decision that was so bad? He decided to wait out the fight in the base, and we all died. But when I decided to wait out the fight in the base, we all survived the first attack. No, whatever. It was my ultimate command. I'm gonna say he clearly has much to learn, because I don't know how this game works, but apparently that guy had like, this is the problem. I would like to see this guy thrown away, right? But he got into the position he has because of his relationship with other people. And if I have my name stamped saying that I ruined his career, these other people might have something out for me. Not bueno. I'm just gonna say he's much to learn about the other command. Censor him. Your response is critical but not overly cruel. Your assessment does not show the lieutenant in any kindly light, but it does mention each of his faults and mistakes in a clinical, impartial manner. In the end, your relatively merciful assessment, though you cannot help but conclude with your own low opinion of the man. The lieutenant, in my opinion, is unsuited for command. Perhaps he'll be of use elsewhere. Perhaps he may win promotions through rank of work away from the battlefield. As he stands now, he should not be trusted with the command of any unit in the field. Your superiors accept this assessment calmly. Over the next few days, they take the time to inform you that the Caracat has been transferred home to serve as a clerk in some musty office in the Grenadier Squad. His post is given to a new officer, which your ultimate superiors consider more suited. Whatever the feelings about the whole affair, you cannot help but think that you have saved a lance unit somewhere out there from a great deal of trouble. The question of what to do with your newly acquired rune gun looms large in your mind. Having seen it used directly effective in the hands of a trained soldier is clearly a very powerful weapon which employed correctly. That being said, such unruined weapons are also extremely valuable, so that their sale is not only legal, performed by nobility, such as yourself. Okay, so I can sell the weapon, I need the money. Keep the weapon for myself. Give the weapon to the best marksman in my unit. Ooh, I like these decisions. Definitely not going to use it for myself, because I cannot shoot a gun straight if the guy was 2 feet away. But let's look at money. Now here's the deal. If I want a promotion, I need to sell the gun. That's what I'm going to guess. I need to sell the gun to buy a promotion. But this seems like a good weapon. And I can wait a little longer. Promotion seems awesome, get more men under my command, but if I can win the loyalty of my men a little bit more, get the loyalty a little bit up, maybe this can build some morale as well if I give them a badass gun. Also, might help in any future combat scenario. So I'm definitely going to give the weapon to the best marksman in my unit. You find the best shot in your small unit. Tall, thick-bodied, well-liked ranker by the name of Campos. After having the weapon modified to fit the saddler's holster and to take to rifling, you present the weapon to him one day as inspection. Dragoon Campos, your excellent work has saved us from difficulty many times now. It would be best if you too took possession of this weapon. Without prompting, the men give 3 loud cheers for the recipient of your gift. Over the next few days, you ensure that this man has enough spare ammunition and free time to practice. A few days later, Sergeant Landriel comes to inform you that Captain Lafrubie has visited your men, both to congratulate your best soldier on his fine aim, and to complain about the complete obliteration of the entire stock of Strauss targets meant for the firing range. A combination of your extravagant gift and the grenadier and the grenadier's officer's backhanded compliment harden your men. They throw themselves into their duties with renewed enthusiasm. Morale and discipline skyrocket. That's what I thought. Who needs money when you have men who actually work? Let's look at this skyrocketing. Okay, they both went up by 10%. More like morale and discipline go up a bit. Okay. This game, I think, well, I don't know. I'm just used to other games where it's like morale 100, morale 50, morale 10, morale 100. This one, it seems it builds up gradually, which makes more sense in reality. With immediate events settled, you return to your monotony of reserve duty. Always required to be ready, remain in the barracks, drilling, writing, amusing yourself, and generally occupying yourself with 1,000 little duties of soldiery, which qualifies you to collect your pay whilst waiting for another great emergency to pull you out of your fugitive into action once more. It never comes. Summer turns to autumn, harvest season, and this cold rain of the early winter pass without incident. The season of snow, ice, boredom, and disease passes as it always does, leaving you with no diversion to save the occasional cremation of a frozen dead century or a poor fellow carried off by typhus or dysentery, which are diseases, I'm guessing. Finally, the winter ends and is once again time to choose your duties from the upcoming year. So, I get lots of options. I get one option. I got to seek promotion. How much money? I got 250. I highly doubt it's enough. Let's try. You send off a request for promotion with the next courier. A month later, he returns with a letter stamped with the seal of the Duke of Wolfram, Commander-in-Chief of the Army. With this official approving regarding your promotion to lieutenant, you are proceed to Noriega to receive a promotion and await the new posting, benefiting your rank. The next day. Oh, I got their promotion. Let's look at money. No money. $0. All right. Hopefully I get to keep the same soldiers. I'm assuming so, or else the stats have changed, but I get to keep my soldiers, hopefully. Next chapter. Okay, so that was the end of this chapter. Sorry for the random breaks in the middle of it. I'll go ahead and, you wouldn't have heard those. There'll be like random cuts. That's because I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I'm just gonna cut that out. That way you don't have to listen to me typing, because it was typing. But an eventful chapter, probably my favorite so far. Got a gun, got to fight, got to take command. That was pretty cool, and finally got the promotion I was looking for. I had enough money apparently, or enough connections with other people. Like that one guy might have liked me. The one guy that what was his name, Lefebvre, because I didn't take the extra weapons or whatnot. But it worked out. It was an exciting episode, and I can see what you were talking about. Jason, I believe that's your name, Jason Finton. The guy who always comments in the videos. I appreciate it, dude. But yeah, I see what you mean. This was an important and exciting battle. Good thing I did not get promoted, or else I wouldn't have done it. And got the special gun that I can use to kill people faster. Pretty nice. Pretty good stuff. Once again, I'll have music credited in the description. Appreciate you watching. I'm gonna go ahead and edit this crap. See you guys later. Bye-bye.